What's going on, YouTube? Carfi King here. So today, guys, we are actually live on Twitch here, but I'm showing you my deck profile for my Beelzemon X build that I got 43rd place with at the Top Cut Regionals. We started off 6-0, but then we ended up losing our last 3 rounds. A tough 3 game set against Beelzemon was our first loss. My opponent just had the absolute gas. Milled like 3 Death Slingers and two Wizardmon, gained like 5 memory. Set up a board, couldn't break it. There's that. Against Hunters, again another tough 3 game set. Game 2, he used X Antibody and Beelzemon X and a Hunter deck to swing and win for game. And then Game 3, I just ran out of gas. Like I really didn't see many rookies. I saw literally my entire level 6 lineup in my hand. I couldn't really get it to the trash or anything like that. So it was really bad. And then our last loss was to Hunters, where game 1, my Impmon swung into security, didn't it hit a Taiki out of security, and then it gave him the ability to start tucking things in, a Resistormon, my Ballmon stack under my Impmon, and I just couldn't recover from there. And then game 3, I was missing a level 4 in my hand even after Mulligan. I was missing a 4, and so I really just couldn't get any type of milling or engine started. So we ended up losing that to Hunters, just kind of just rolling through us there. But 43rd place, here we go. We got 4 copies of Yaman. I like this egg. When the restriction list hits, I'll make an update list after doing some testing for the restriction list. But Yaman, I like the Yaman egg. Because you have to know too, and found a ruling for this as well. That happened during again against my first Beelzemon loss. I think that was round 7. When you swing with the starter deck Impmon and you warp into Beelzemon, you should if you don't want to mill off the Yaman, declare Yaman first, because it becomes a floating ability. So declare Yaman first before using the warp ability, so you don't get any extra mills past what you really want to do. So there's that. So for Yaman, I'll start at the top here. 1 Blast Mode, 2 Beelzemon X, 2 Beelzemon, and 3 Beelzemon from the EX2. I went with the 1 Blast Mode because I was winning more games on my Beelzemon X Antibody, and I had different ways I can add Blast Mode to my hand, and he did help me win my game 2 in round 7 because I just held on to him for the entirety of the time. This Beelzemon, I think, may get a little bit more important now because you may need to start working in Beelstar into the deck and having a little bit more of like an Impmon spam type of thing with the restriction list. But I like the 3. I like the 3 of these here. It was good just again to help get Impmons out, and the destruction ability where you can on Digivolve pop certain things is always come in clutch. So yeah, I like this lineup. This Beelzemon is nice, and I wouldn't mind if you say use 3, because seeing him early game getting the mill 4 off is nice, but a lot of times you don't want to see this Beelzemon until mid game. You rather see him early and him like kind of mid game. But there's that, and then obviously Beelzemon X is just really strong card. But we're gonna have to rework a lot of ratios. Like I think maybe the starter deck Beelzemon might see a little bit more play at probably 3 of, just because we can probably run Beelstar along the side of it to do some things. And then for level 5s, we ran pretty much 6 Ballmon. I did brick on 5s a bit today, which kind of sucks because there are people who play less 5s than I do and don't brick. But 1 Ballmon X, 1 Ballmon for these Ballmons. The Ballmon X is there because you can pick up the X Antibody out of the trash and then Digivolve, swing with this, with the X Antibody, Digivolve into Beelzemon X, burn and swing and hit for game, right? So there's that. That's really why he's in here. Otherwise, he can pop a 4, and I think I did pop an Impmon or something with his ability. So like digivolving him over a Ballmon, so instead of your milling 3, you're popping a level 4 lower, actually came in handy because they kind of help with that field tempo. So he was pretty nice. And then this Ballmon here, I kind of want to look at running more copies of him because I found myself today digivolving in the raising area a little bit more than I really wanted to. But that's just because, against like Raid War Greymon, it really wasn't safe to move out. And I didn't really want to lose my floating ability that this guy has by digivolving it in the raising area, where he would have had a much better effect. And so I think moving forward, I may look at running this Ballmon a little bit more, just because we may need to stay in the raising area a little bit longer than we want to in a lot of situations. But the floating ability is nice. And the one thing that is scary is when you digivolve into him, though you have your float, if you don't mill a Beelzemon, or your opponent recognizes that you don't have enough cards in trash, so that if they were able to pop this stack, you can't bring back a Beelzemon. So that's just another thing to be wary of with it. The 4s, I cut down my 4s. I was running the one Witchmon, but instead I cut it down to make room for the Mist Memory Boost. So Wizardmon X and Wizardmon, if you digivolve him over this, you get blocker. A lot of times you don't really, in this deck, you don't really care about blocker because that's kind of slow and you kind of want to just keep going. With it, with this deck, you want to kind of just keep going, but otherwise it's fine. And then I really ran him for his inheritable, because the inheritable trash top 2 when attacking is really nice. But this is the Wizardmon you really want to see. This one you really want to just stack on top of the deck, but sometimes you just need a 4 to digivolve in. Unfortunately, I didn't have the 4 in that last game. Rookies, 1 BT6 Impmon, 4 starter deck Impmon. He's kind of like your win con, really strong. 4 copies of the Impmon X Antibody, and 4 copies of EX2 Impmon that's going to get hit to 1. The BT6 Impmon, I really like BT6 Impmon because BT6 Impmon, you can play it out, like if you mill your Beelzemon, you can play this out, and then this can grab you your Beelzemon X or your whatever Beelzemon you need. But like a lot of times I use him to grab Beelzemon X because I wanted Beelzemon X in my hand, so that when I do go for certain plays, I'll have the Beelzemon X in place, so that way I don't have to waste a barrage or anything like that. This is your kind of like your win con. Why you want to get to 20 cards in trash really is to and set him up is really important. Plus, him popping a rookie is good because your opponent really doesn't want to play rookies against this card, especially if this card is sitting in the raising area ready to be digivolved on top of. And then this Impmon X Antibody I think is really good. It's important too. Like let's say that you play this Impmon out here, you grab your Beelzemon back, you can digivolve into this, draw a card, pitch an option card. Now you can grab like a 4 for progression, or you can grab your blast mode, whatever it is. So as long as you have an option to pitch, this card can fish out pretty much any Digimon in your deck, which is insane. And then this card was hit to 1, and I already went on a whole rant about this card where and I'll talk more about it in a video where I'm going to go over the restriction list and kind of like how it affects Beelzemon. But the ramp 3 is really important. Ramping your drop zone by up to 3 is really important, and the search ability to search out your Iron Mako, to search out your card with Beelzemon in its name, it search out your whole lineup. So we're going to be losing a pretty important piece to the deck. But yeah, and the 3K as an inheritable is really nice as well, because then that lets us swing over a lot of things. So now by losing this card to 1, again, we lose a card where we can, have Beelzemon hit power levels over something. I'm telling you guys, this hit was important. It's going to be deck construction is going to be interesting. For options, we got 1 X Antibody. I played 2 Mist Boost, double 7th Cluster, extremely clutch. 3 Rivals Barrage, 4 Death Slinger, and 3 of, for the tamer, 3 Ayamako. The 1 X Antibody, because you know it's really good. We can fish it out. We have multiple ways to get to it. Really enjoy the card in the deck. Offers you an alternative win con. The Missed Memory Boost I put in here because I wanted to just have a little bit. I wanted to try a play where I can have a little bit extra memory, get a little bit extra mill, and you know, kind of just like, it's kind of like a flavor, because a lot of people like to choke you at 1 with this deck, and then being able to go up to 3, which helps extend your plays, I think was really nice. So I actually did enjoy the Missed Memory Boost in the deck. Shout out to my boy Rip for really kind of hammering it in that this card was definitely good in the deck, so I appreciate that. 7th full cluster, I ran 2. Now, I was originally running 1, but then I ran 2, and I was talking with Tessero about it as well. The 7th full cluster is such a good card. This card saves you against Greymon. This, you know, swing, you know, go into this, pop the Greymon, you know, and this helped me win my Greymon matchup. I popped Greymon, he removed the X Antibody for his protection, then the second one propped and got rid of his Greymon, so now he had to restart his stack. Having 2 7th full clusters is just really nice, and it's also a decent security bomb too, but it's just a really good removal and a card to help keep you in your deck. And it also helped as well sending it back to the deck when I played against Beelzemon, because it allowed me to keep an extra card in deck, which actually really mattered, you know, to me surviving that matchup. And then 3 Rivals Barrage, I cut it down from 4 because I kept drawing into too many copies of it, and if we draw into a lot of copies of it, that's cool, but if you're not dropping or seeing your Ayamakos, then you just have a big 7-cost option card in your hand, and you want to get out your hand. Hopefully you have like a Wizardmon or something, but if you don't have Wizardmon or Ayamako, then it's kind of just sitting in your hand. But it's a good card that you want to mill, and I did mill it a bit today, but I didn't have the greatest of luck with it because I kept drawing like I ran 3 copies, but I kept drawing into it most of the day, so it was in my hand quite a bit, even at less copies in the deck than what I've previously been playing. Deathslinger gain you the memory back, and the cheapest destruction in the game, really strong card. And then Ayamako, just a really important tamer. You know, it's really, you know, it's a card where I considered putting 4 of this card in the deck, because not having your pieces, not being able to get it to where you need to get, it's just really sucks. And I really felt like I wanted more chances of hitting this in security, or just opening up the game with your Ayamako to drop so you can get so I can get my search off, just so I can have some sort of accuracy, you know, fix accuracy issues, get to my pieces. Because once I can able to get 1 Ayamako to the field, get to my stack and start going, then I feel, you know, then it's fine. But yeah, there are times I really wanted 4 of this card just so I can have a higher chance of opening it in my opening hand, or having it as, you know, my first few security. But it is what it is with that. But that's the deck profile, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be, this was, well, you know, this deck's obviously going to change next week for the restriction list. But yeah, that's the deck profile, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.